Welcome, friends, to the Girl Mom Podcast. This is Kari, your host. Today's episode was inspired by the many conversations I've had over the years with moms who underestimate themselves. I love my mom friends, but one thing I see again and again is how we devalue what we bring to this world, especially as our kids grow up and leave home. In fact, many moms believe their purpose is over once their kids leave home, yet nothing could be further from the truth. At my age, I have empty nester friends going back to work or looking for a new passion project. And though they've been out of the workplace for 20 or more years raising kids and families, they bring something to the table that you can't teach to a 22-year-old in a job seminar, and that is a mother's heart. In my opinion, our mother's heart is our superpower. In any job, life calling, or assignment we have a perspective that sees below the surface to the needs, desires, and well-being of every individual. We understand that what every human being really wants is to be known, seen, and loved. And when people like this work for a company, it makes the whole company and organization look good. So while we moms may not be as quick on our feet or as good with technology as some of our younger counterparts, we do have a wisdom we have earned through blood, sweat, and tears. For a deeper dive on the subject and more encouragement, check out my newest book for moms, More Than a Mom: How Prioritizing Your Wellness Helps You and Your Family Thrive. This episode comes from the chapter on purpose and what I believe God wants us to know as we enter the second half of our life. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show. My friend Brooke thought that she was taking her child to a routine 2-year-old checkup. But when the blood work looked abnormal, the doctor ordered follow-up tests. From there, a nightmare unfolded as Brooke and her husband learned that their vivacious little girl had been diagnosed with childhood cancer. They were devastated. And while their daughter now thrives as a teenager and has been in remission for years, it was a frightening time of uncertainty. Nobody knew what the future held. Brooke, a self-proclaimed introvert, normally shies away from attention. She enjoys her comfort zone of nesting at home. But as thousands of people followed her on caringbridge.org, Brooke received invitations to share her story in person. She always said yes, even though she hates public speaking and would get so nervous beforehand that she wouldn't eat for days. I'm so grateful for what God has done for us, she told me, that I want to do something in return for Him. Her courage intrigued me, and when I told my dad about it, he said, an introvert can become an extrovert when they do something for God. Wow, what truth. And little did I know, I'd need this truth myself several years later when my book got released and I got invited to speak. As I questioned these opportunities, since public speaking made me so nervous, my dad told me, when you're nervous, you're thinking too much about yourself. Focus instead on your audience. Think about the people you're trying to help and the message you came to share. His words hit home, and like my friend Brooke, I discovered that the secret to being brave is to forget about yourself and focus on helping others. As that happens, you walk into your purpose. Too often in life, we aimlessly drift through. Even if we embrace our purpose as moms, we mistakenly believe our purpose is over once our kids leave home. The truth, however, is that your purpose continues until your very last breath on earth. Your purpose is much bigger than your calling as a mother. Pastor Rick Warren wrote a life-changing book on this subject. His opening line, "It's not about you," makes it clear that we exist for God's purposes. The Purpose-Driven Life is one of the best-selling books of all times, with over 35 million copies sold, and it explains how every human being is uniquely created and gifted to serve their generation. There may be accidental pregnancies, but there are no accidental babies because God does not make mistakes. Warren writes, you cannot arrive at your life's purpose by starting with a focus on yourself. You must begin with God, your Creator. You exist only because God wills that you exist. You were made by God and for God, and until you understand that, life will never make sense. It is only in God that we discover our origin, our identity, our meaning, our purpose, our significance, and our destiny. Every other path leads to a dead end. Throughout your life, God will call you outside your comfort zone. He'll give you assignments outside your wheelhouse and dreams without all the answers. He'll force you to step up and be brave. Before you dismiss His nudges, ask yourself, do I not want to do this because I'm scared or because it feels wrong? If you're hesitating due to fear, pray for help. Ask God for the grace to do His will, and remember the reason we accept His assignments in the first place is in response to His perfect love. Our work returns to Him what He has already given to us. Chances are, when you were younger, you had visions and dreams for your life. You had bright-eyed wonder about your future. But motherhood came along and rearranged your priorities. You discover the pinnacle of purpose in raising your children, and what on earth could compare to that? I can't speak for all moms, but for me, nothing will ever bring the same joy, fulfillment, or sense of purpose as being a mother. My kids and my husband are the best chapters of my life, and if I died tomorrow, I would not have a single regret about embracing them as my primary purpose on earth. At the same time, I may live another 40 or 50 years. I'm launching teenagers and entering my life's second act. My family will always be my greatest purpose, but once the nest is empty, I'll also have more time and energy to give. I'll have more headspace and heart space to serve God. So what I'm starting to ask myself is, what next? How do I want to parlay my experiences into fresh callings or pursuits? Clearly, I have my writing, yet even with that, I sometimes feel lost. I struggle to imagine what is possible after being out of practice so long. The dreaming that once came naturally no longer does, and sometimes I wonder if my ship has sailed. I know that many women feel this way. I know so many smart mothers who underestimate themselves and believe that they no longer have talents. They're convinced they have no purpose after their children leave home, and I get it because I felt it. But the truth is, moms, you have a hidden advantage. You have a mother's heart and an outlook that no one can teach in a seminar or class. At our high school, for instance, the ladies at the front desk, BB and Angel, are phenomenal at their job because of their mothers' hearts. They're like the on-campus mamas, understanding the kids' needs without being told. Whether it's a student with an injury, a student who didn't make the team, or a student going through a difficult time, they know how to show extra love and compassion and create a smooth transition. They treat other people's kids like their own. When Jesus picked his disciples, he didn't go and look for superstars. Instead, he simply looked for humble, teachable hearts. He chose ordinary men who were willing to cooperate with God's grace. And what this means for us as mothers is that we don't need fancy achievements to make a meaningful impact. As long as our hearts are open to doing God's will and willing to do what he needs us to do, God can work miracles. Motherhood is very important, but you are more than just a mom. Your purpose doesn't end just because your kids grow up. If anything, having extra time on your hands and also that motherly wisdom allows you to better serve God. It gives you a hidden advantage in building up his kingdom. Your life is God's gift to you, and what you do with your life is your gift back to him. Be open to God's will and ready to respond when he puts a calling on your heart. Stay faithful in the small assignments God gives you that prepares you for the bigger ones to come. Even when you feel unqualified, he will equip you. He'll challenge you, stretch you, and force you to leave your comfort zone. Outside your comfort zone is where you will find your life purpose. While motherhood is a huge part of your life purpose, God is also using you in a bigger story, a story that brings glory to him and inspires others in their journey of faith, meaning, and purpose. Friends, thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm so grateful to have you here. And if you enjoyed the show, please follow the Girl Mom Podcast on iTunes or wherever you listen, and leave a ratings or review so others can find these messages too. Also, my new book for moms called More Than a Mom, How Prioritizing Your Wellness Helps You and Your Family Thrive, is now available everywhere books are sold. This book is for girl moms and boy moms and full of encouragement no matter what season of parenting you're in. Find the link to this book and my other books in the show notes. Thanks again for your support and have a great day.